Oh, the thumbnails. Yeah, yeah. I know. It don't. It no, no. They're pretty bad, but they're easy, quick thumbnails I can make. All right, we live. We're live right now, guys. So they can hear. Yeah, they can hear you. Well, I'm about to put the standby on, but
Oh, I was living for myself, trying to prove my existence. I wouldn't listen to nobody else. But then time caught up with my plans. And when the day broke, it exposed me for the fool that I really am. You said, let me lead you, let me take you by the hand, yeah. So I can feed you from a good and precious land. All my eyes have seen, you're all I need, you're all I need, yeah. So now I'm learning to walk in your steps, and through the valley of confusion I've been losing my apprehension with death. But you said let me lead you, let me take you by the hand, so I can feed you from a good and precious land. Now I owe it all to you, giving my heart to you, freedom becoming true. Nobody else like you, do what you promised to, and I'm so grateful for your love. And all my eyes have seen the wonders of your mystery received. I've tasted what it means. Now nothing else is
What's up, everybody? We are live, and I'm in here in the building by myself this evening, holding it down. Gonna hold down the stream tonight. Fellas are joining me via remote, and they will be on here in just a second. I'm gonna bring them up. They are already in the waiting room, so we appreciate everybody for being here. This is a crazy times, man. A lot of stuff going on in the world. You know, the Epstein list just dropped and confirmed a bunch of the conspiracy theories we've been talking about for years on this channel. So we're gonna get into some of that. Some other stuff going on with the Save Act vote happening, and people trying to stop people from using voter ID, which is apparently racist, and there's a bunch of other stuff going on. But we're glad you're here. Make sure you guys hit that like button, share this video with your friends. We're gonna get into some stuff. You know what it is. You're watching Young Lion TV. Let's go.
Young lion, everywhere I look, they're dying. Everywhere I look, they're dying. Young lion, everywhere I look, they're dying. Everywhere I look, they're dying. Young lion, won't you get up and start fighting? Everywhere I look, they're hiding.
That's what it is, Young Lion TV. We know when the intro sounds, we are in the Lion's Den, and we're going to get into some topics. This is the podcast that we've been doing for years, where me and my brothers and my family, my mom, we all get together in here, and we talk about stuff that's going on in the world. We've been doing this for years. As we've grown as men and husbands, fathers, brothers, all the things that you try to be better at every single day. We had these conversations to help each other grow, iron sharpens iron type thing. So we started doing it on the live stream, just to show an example, because we didn't have this when we were younger. We didn't have forums like they have now, where you can go on YouTube and watch people have discussions. Or at least we weren't exposed to it. If it did happen, it was like on PBS, on some boring show that nobody wanted to watch. But just watching like regular men talk about ideas and talk about the things that they made mistakes with as young men, things that they fell victim to. It's the reason why we kind of brought this podcast together, and also being led by God, because we are believers in Jesus Christ. And we wanted to show that as well, and kind of change culture and show that, Christianity is not what they depicted it to be on TV with Ned Flanders and all of that. So, yeah, without further ado, if that's something that you want to support and you want to get behind, the link to our Patreon is in the description, where you can become a member and help support what we do and help us continue to grow and get bigger and better. The YouTube channel has been growing as of recently, so we're happy about that. We really hadn't put no time into the YouTube channel over the years, but now it's starting to grow. And we're appreciative of that, man. If you guys are on YouTube right now, shout out to y'all. Make sure you drop a comment in there, hit that like button, and shout out to the people on Facebook. I see you, Mom. Said I love you, Jamie. I love you too, Mom. I told her to take the night off. No need to switch cameras. I'm in here by myself. And Papa Jeff said, all right, let's watch some Young Lion TV. I appreciate you tuning in with us and joining us every week, Pops. If you're on Rumble, hit that like button. If you're on Twitch, if you're on Twitter, on X, make sure you guys hit that like button as well. And, continue to support what we do. Join in on the conversation. Chime in. Let us know if we missed something, if we got something wrong, or if you want to debate, or if you want to add something to the conversation. That is something that you can definitely do. But without further ado, I got to bring in the fellas who are patiently waiting backstage. Let me see if I can bring them in right here. Boom, in the building. We got my big brother, but he's everybody's big brother, Mr. Jacob Eugene Evans, on the screen, live from his basement, and then live from his.
Hello.
Oh, we got a little double on you. But live from his basement also is the coolest Asian in the podcast land, Mr. Simone Chang, in the building.
What up? I'm actually in my living room because my basement is too loud.
Oh yeah, because you always end up getting us with, what is it? Your heater turns on, and then we can't hear nothing, the background noise.
And then I have the sound of the smoke detector.
Oh yeah. You want to be one of those minorities, just getting us in trouble.
I did get drafted, remember?
Yeah, you are drafted into the black delegation, so it's only right that you your smoke detector goes off. You know, um, I think probably the only reason why I don't have any beeping smoke detectors ever is because I don't have any smoke detectors. So
Oh man,
I don't have that problem.
don't tell Voorhees Township that.
I know, right?
Hey man, I
I,
changed mine. I just changed mine actually a couple weeks ago
yeah,
because I can't stand the beep.
I know the beep is so annoying. Um, but
Things
yeah,
things tune out for me for some reason. I don't even hear
dude, that's you
Called
with
trauma.
that's he does that with normal conversation.
it. That's why I'm so, I can tune out people so easily, I guess.
Yeah, unless they say there's those key triggering things that you can't tune out that they say that you gotta just
Philadelphia Eagles suck. What?
right, right. The Philly fans are the worst fans on the planet. Can't let that go. Yeah, but so man, weather out here is crazy. You guys been seeing Florida? How cold it is in Florida right now?
No.
I saw something where like it's so cold down there. It's like 30 degrees or something like that. That the iguanas are
Oh
falling.
yeah,
They're
yeah.
falling from the trees because they're
And
like,
people are. I did see a video now that you reminded me that
yeah,
people are like collecting them and putting them in baskets and then killing them and then making tacos out of them.
yep, yeah. I know the Trini's curry iguana in Trinidad. So,
I would try it.
uh, I I don't know
No,
how much of eating reptile I'm into. I mean, I've had alligator, but
they said that it tastes like chicken.
yeah, they say everything tastes like chicken.
I
You
know.
had gator. Did it taste like chicken?
I felt like it tastes uh in between chicken and
Exactly,
like
not like chicken. It was tastes
catfish.
like something else.
I would say it tasted like a little bit like chicken, but duck maybe, like a
I,
little bit.
I'm more on the page with Moan. To me, it was like a very soft white meat chicken, but close, but almost fish like as well. You know what I mean?
Wasn't
Yeah,
it
Like,
white meat though?
yeah, it was the gator that
yeah,
we
it
had.
was.
It was white.
Okay.
It was very white.
But it wasn't as hard as chicken, I would say.
No, it
So
was like
maybe,
soft and
maybe,
like
maybe it was fish.
a fishy chicken. Um, but iguana, I don't think it would be like that. Cause I've had you guys have had frog legs, so
No.
Yes,
that's more like chicken
that tastes like
than
chicken.
gator. Yeah,
I agree with you.
yeah,
It's like eating chicken wings.
yeah. It is. It is like eating chicken wings. There's a slightly different taste to it,
Yeah,
because it's a frog.
but
But yeah,
but it's not as like to me. It's not like when you're eating lamb. You know what I
right,
mean?
right. Yeah,
It's
it's a
it's different.
very subtle thing.
But they're
Yeah,
not dead though, right? They're just they're cold blooded, so they can't like they kind of go into like a
Yeah, they
hibernation type
freeze. They
thing.
literally freeze, where they just stop move. Their
yeah.
body stops
They
moving because
stop
they're
moving, yeah,
yeah
but they're
because they're
not dead.
yeah they're not dead. No, but some people are cooking them, but some people are bagging them up and saving them and like warming them up. I saw
Yeah.
videos of people because they're falling on people's cars and stuff. It's
Mm.
kind of crazy. Um, but yeah, mom said Henry didn't want to take Rosemary to lunch because it was too cold. Oh, yeah. Apparently, it's really cold out there, but
We're supposed to be going there in a week, another
yeah,
week and a half.
in about a week and a half. But it's gonna warm up by then. I was looking; it's gonna be
Okay.
back up to like 70 something degrees. So looking
Listen, I'll
forward to
take it.
that.
It's
Yeah,
been like 7 degrees, man.
yeah. It's been freezing out here. I feel like
I'm wearing a scarf for like every time I go outside.
this is the closest we'll get to like living in Alaska. The what this last couple weeks has been, or like up in Canada somewhere.
Yeah.
You guys know the coldest place on the earth
Coldest place on
that
the earth.
people live. That
I was
people
gonna
live.
say Antarctica.
I was gonna say I just saw something.
Got to be Russia.
It's between a town in Russia and I think where Jess had lived for a couple years in like Ladakh area.
I don't
Ladakh.
even know what that is.
That's northern India, Himalayans. The Himalayas is
Well, yeah, it's
well,
Russia. It was Russia. It's called, I think it's called Yakuts.
I think you're right.
But
Yakutsk.
I think you're
I
right.
was watching something, dude. It was -65.
Woo
What?
wee!
Like
Is that Celsius or Fahrenheit?
that's Fahrenheit.
Wow.
That's Fahrenheit. And here's the thing: like you can only be outside for like 10 to 15 minutes, like with all your stuff on, and you can't not wear gloves because
You'll get
your
The
hands.
coldest the
instant
coldest
frostbite.
place on earth the coldest place on earth is a high ridge on East Antarctica. But I think you're
Well,
referring to the
towns,
coldest town where people
yeah, or
live.
city. That's what.
Yeah.
That's why I changed it. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, I was watching something -65. Crazy. Like you go outside and like if you got a beard, it's gonna be frozen over. You must.
Coldest coldest inhabited place is Oymayakan, Russia, with temperatures reaching -50 degrees Celsius, -58 Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the
Well,
place that
maybe
you said
that's
the place
that
that you
place is
said
better.
is the coldest city, Yakutsk.
Yeah.
Yakutsk. Yeah, that's the
Yakutsk.
coldest city.
And yeah, so the video I was watching, it was like 65. It was 50 something Celsius and then 60 something Fahrenheit.
That's probably that place where we showed last week, Moon, where they were skiing off the buildings
Oh, probably.
from that storm they got. Did you see
Oh
that,
yeah.
Jake?
Yeah. Well, no, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's it's got to be near there. But dude, they were like pouring out water into like spirals and it was just freezing.
Freezing in the air. Wow, that's
Yeah, like just
crazy.
crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Why? Why?
Why what?
Why? Why do you even want to live there? Why?
People
Yeah,
just get used to it.
I can't even imagine.
It
You have to be born into that, bro. Nobody
Hmm.
says I want
yeah.
really want to go live there. Like
Yeah.
nobody says that.
Yeah. You get like anything, you get used to it, right? And then you're born in it and it just becomes your way of life.
Yeah. Yeah, man. That's crazy. Well, I'm so great. I'm so like looking forward to this winter being over. Uh it was Groundhog Day
Well,
yesterday, and apparently
yeah, I was gonna say Tony Phil.
he said that there's going to be 6 more weeks of winter, correct?
Yes, he saw his shadow, right?
Yeah, he saw his shadow, which means it's longer.
Uncle
Which
Tony Phil the 17th.
yeah,
How
yeah.
many? How,
Punks are- how many how
how many
many
groundhogs?
yeah. Yeah, they treat us like when your kid's pet dies and they just keep swapping it out, act like it's the same.
Right.
Punks of Tiny Phil. I want to know, with all the snow that we just got, how did they have to dig out his hole? Like I really believe that they just grab a groundhog from somewhere and put it in the hole and then wait for it to come out. Because what are the chances that it comes out on the day that they say it's going to come out every time?
Right. I don't know, bro.
It
Like
doesn't make any
you-
sense.
I mean, it's come on, man. This is not real stuff.
do,
I'm just, yeah, I know, but I'm saying like even the fact that
you
it's
think it's
something
just
that
some random? They just get some random groundhog.
I
That
think
thing would
so.
that
No, no,
that
I'm
thing
not.
would
I'm not
bite.
saying not a random one, but they probably have like domesticated ones. You know what I'm saying? That they keep on a
Right.
farm somewhere or in a, you know what I mean?
Oh
Like,
yeah. Oh yeah. That's it's all stage.
Do you
yeah.
guys remember Groundhog Day with Bill Murray?
Yo, we just talked about that last
Yeah.
week. Like how
Oh,
that's
okay.
one of our favorite movies. That's the only thing good about Groundhog Day. Groundhog Day is such a nonsense like thing to have. And do they have it in other parts of the country? Like, is it only here? That's. I'm gonna look that up. I don't even know.
Yeah.
Do
Look
people
that up. I was
celebrate
gonna
Groundhog Day anywhere else?
ask Grok or something.
Yeah, I am. Let me see.
Cultures do weird stuff, man. You know,
Yeah,
I'm, I made a joke. It was like, white people doing weird things, but in reality, people do weird things.
yeah. We showed the poop festival on here. That ain't white
Yeah.
people. Groundhog Day, February 2nd, is primarily celebrated in the United States and Canada, with the most
What?
famous and largest event in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania at Gobbler's Knob.
Gobblers. Gobblers snob.
Yeah.
What?
Uh, home of the legendary Punxsutawney Phil. Thousands gather there before sunrise for this weather prediction. Shadow equals 6 more weeks of winter. No shadow equals early spring. Complete with music, fireworks, and festivities. Other notable celebrations include Sun Prairie, Wisconsin, self-proclaimed groundhog capital of the world with its own groundhog. Woodstock, Illinois, famous as the filming location for Groundhog Day, the movie. So that was in Woodstock, Illinois, the movie.
Hmm. The
Quarryville,
Woodstock.
I'm assuming Quarryville, Pennsylvania. It's a slumbering groundhog lodge ceremony, and then various spots in New Jersey, i.e., Milltown, Essex, Ed, and then Ohio, New York, and other states and Providence with local groundhog events.
Hold up. So they all have their own groundhog?
Yeah,
Is, is it all supposed to be Punxsutawney?
no,
That's like
Punxsutawney is only Punxsutawney is a town in Pennsylvania. That's why they name him Punxsutawney
right.
Phil. Right. So that's just
But they
there.
all have their own. They all have their own names.
I'm assuming it says Wisconsin blah, 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 with its own groundhog. Let's ask. What is
Because I was thinking it was, they're they're all saying it's Punxsutawney. He's like a Santa Claus.
nope. Wisconsin's most famous Groundhog Day prognosticator is Jimmy the Groundhog from Sun Prairie. Not as catchy. Jimmy the Groundhog from Sun Prairie, often called world headquarters of groundhogs. Yeah, so I'm guessing everybody. Let's see, Woodstock, since that's where the movie came from. Let's see. Woodstock's groundhog name is Woodstock Willie. Woodstock
Was that in
Willie.
the movie?
I don't remember. I haven't watched it in a while, but it is a great movie. I need to watch that again. Watch that with the kids. He's the official
Yeah.
prognosticator of their town where 1993 movie Groundhog Day was filmed. 1993. Man, we old guys.
Yeah.
We old. I saw a video the other day where they were making fun of people, anyone who was born in the 1900s. Like they somebody was going around their job and being like, "Oh, when were you born?" And anytime they said 19 anything, everyone just went crazy. You know what I mean?
You start. You hear the dogs playing with their toys.
Yep.
Come on, guys. Y'all bothering me.
So not only was it Groundhog's Day yesterday, over the weekend was the biggest music night of the year, with the Grammy Awards being celebrated and their pointless, ritualistic nonsense occurring. Something that when we in our younger days would have probably aspired to be a part of, but now that spell has been definitely broken over us. Did you guys catch any of the hoopla, any of the clips that kind of made it around?
I've definitely seen the viral clips. They didn't listen to Ricky, man.
They didn't
You
listen to
know.
Ricky. They never
Well,
listened to Ricky.
they didn't listen to.
Yeah,
You
and he
know.
he told them again not to listen, not to do it, but they did it anyway. But did you guys see the Trevor Noah joke jab at Nicki Minaj? That was totally. It
Yeah.
was so lame. Jake, did you see this?
Yep.
All right. Well, let's play it for the audience, just so we can show it on here. This is Trevor Noah, who hosted the Grammy Awards. He also used to be the host of The Daily Show. He kind of ruined that show, if you ask me. That show has never recovered from him being replacing Jon Stewart because he just wasn't. I mean, first of all, you got a guy who's not from this country, from South Africa, coming to this country to host a show that is talking about American politics. It just was weird. But here he is with a very obvious liberal joke on the Grammys. Okay, let me fix the audio. Man. Oops. Why is it so low? Let me see. It's weird. It's really low.
And every single person here, John Legend, Billie Eilish, Phineas, Nicki Minaj is not here. She is not here. She is still at the White House with Donald Trump discussing very important issues. Actually, Nicki, I have the biggest ass. I have it. Everybody's saying it, Nicki. I know they say it's you, but it's me. Wop, wop, wop. Look at it. Look at it, baby.
So hilarious.
It's really bad.
Yeah.
And then you see, I don't know her name, but John Legend's wife.
Yes. I was
Wasn't
just
she
going
in
to.
the Epstein files?
Yes. I was just going to point this out.
Christy
She's
Teigen.
back there putting the thumbs up.
That's the irony of this, that he is in a room full
Oh.
of a bunch of people that are in the Hollywood elite that are, a lot of them mentioned, both of them, Chrissy Teigen and John Legend, were mentioned on the flight logs, mentioned in the Epstein files that just got released as well, and they're making fun of Nicki Minaj. And watch Chrissy Teigen when he says it.
Oh, man. Every single person here, John Legend, Billie Eilish, Phineas, Nicki Minaj is not here. She is not here.
You see, she gives a thumbs up,
Mhm.
and then she says bye.
She is still.
Chrissy Teigen, someone who hasn't she, like, people have exposed her tweets from the past where she said some really weird stuff. Remember?
Yo,
The
not
type of stuff
even
that she-
weird. It's disturbing
yeah.
because it resurfaced. Somebody had posted all the stuff that she is like. How are you not being investigated with the
Yeah.
things that you're saying?
Let me see if I can find some of this so we can talk about it.
She's talking about, like, child sex and how she, I don't know. It's not a normal person would not be saying stuff like that.
Yeah.
Even joking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, let me see. I'm going to bring this up. This was one of her tweets. I don't know if you guys can see this. It's a little bit blurry, but it said, I dedicate this picture to @Troy Zan and the joy it brings him. And the picture is something that kind of looks strange. I don't know if you guys can make that out, but it's disgusting. And here's another one of her weird tweets. Seeing little girls do the splits half naked is just ... I want to put myself in jail. Here's another tweet. A little boy in the pageant now. Finally, some eye candy for me. Uh, Here's some other stuff. I'm going to jail over pizza. I am 1,000,000% going to be a child from toddlers and tiaras for Halloween. Can we fast forward time, please? I am beyond excited. I woke up this morning with a pizza on my chest and ranch dressing all over me, so I think I'm too good for this. You are sadly if you think I'm too good for this, you're sad. See, little girls, yeah, so people are just posting a lot of her weird stuff. Water slide that goes through Shark Tank. Yeah, time to get my PDF on. What? Accidentally went to Children's Aquarium looking pretty pedo bear ish, cruising the parking lot. I'm about to Anthony Weiner this kid. What? I just saw a baby that looked like a porn star, like a trashy do anything porn star. Is it wrong to think?
That
Yeah.
stuff is dark.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and this is stuff from like years and years ago that she was
I mean,
tweeting.
even the jokes, like, they're not funny because they're dark. A lot of them that he was doing with, especially the Trump stuff. The Nicki Minaj wasn't dark, but it was
Yeah.
just, it's only funny because they have to make light of Nicki Minaj. They have to.
Yeah.
Right?
Because she is one of the ones that left the plantation, so to speak. You know what I mean? The same thing they did to Kanye West before they could just, throw him in the crazy train. Like when he had first walked away and was saying stuff about Trump and about the Democratic plantation, they had to make him look like a coon and a crazy person first, which is the
Yeah.
same thing they're doing to Nicki Minaj.
Mm-hmm.
But the funny thing was at the same time, Nicki started going on a rant on Twitter. First of all, she tweeted about Trevor Noah having a secret boyfriend, and then she said she started going off. She said your favorite artist has been practicing rituals in a satanic cult where they take babies from other countries and mutilate and unalive them as a form of blood something to their god. You see, when your master is Satan, you must constantly shed blood. However, the jig is up. And I think she put jig because she put that in all caps on purpose, because there's a certain person that she's been warring with who was also mentioned in the Epstein files. And she was talking
Yeah.
about how she's about to start exposing everybody because of the way that they're treating her now. So she was going on a bunch of rants on Twitter, just talking about what really goes on in the music business, which is something that we have talked about for years on here. So it's kind of crazy to see this stuff starting to come to light even more. The Diddy thing kind of exposed a lot of it and opened people's eyes up to the, like, okay, so maybe this isn't all just because for years they could make it seem like anyone who mentioned that type of seedy underworld in Hollywood was a conspiracy theorist or some kind of like loon, you know what I mean? But now, after seeing what happened with the Diddy situation, and now, the Epstein thing coming out, and Jay-Z and Pusha T and all these other people being caught up in this, and Nicki Minaj, someone who's on the inside, saying that this is what's going on behind closed doors, is kind of crazy. And that's why they're going to have to do something to shut her up, which is, scary.
Yeah. There's a director you guys know, Stanley Kubrick,
Oh, yeah.
who kind of showed some of this stuff, this elite stuff, in what's
Eyes
what's
Wide
the
Shut.
Eyes Wide Shut.
I
Yeah.
watched that.
Also, did you know that in the Jack Nicklaus movie, The Shining,
Yes.
that ballroom was called the Ballroom of Baal, or Baal?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in The
And
Shining, there's a lot of alluding to like if you read between the lines, there's a lot of alluding to like ritualistic abuse, sexual abuse, even between him and Danny. Um, there's like undertones of that in the dialogue that you can pick up on. There's like little, and you know Stanley Kubrick is known for being very specific about things that he put in scenes and the way he would shape the narrative and have like these little Easter eggs in there. I don't know if you remember the scene where Jack is in the he's in the waiting room waiting to see the guy who's going to give him the job at the hotel. And when he's sitting there, you if you don't, it's real quick. But if you catch it, he's reading a magazine, and the magazine is a gay porn magazine.
Mm.
And
yeah,
there's little stuff like that throughout the entire film that if you're not really
yeah.
paying attention, you won't pick up on it.
I mean, there was a movie he did. I think it was 1962. You ever hear of Lolita?
Lolita, yeah, yep.
So
I mean,
I
that's what the
never.
dude. That's what the Lolita Express was named after. That's Epstein's plane.
Right,
Hmm.
right.
Yeah,
So yeah, um, but I never watched that movie, and I was just watching some breakdown. Sorry, these kids are running around. You hear that?
yes. I hear you. What's that? The
They're running around
fluorescent
upstairs.
light. The fluorescent light rattling.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
running around. Um, so in that movie, that's based off of a book of a girl who was 12 years old,
yeah,
where this guy from Europe, they never really say where he's from exactly, but he comes, I think it was German. He comes to as a writer, gets a room, and then he chooses that place because he falls in love with the girl. In the movie, she's a little. They don't really say what age she is. In the book, she's 12.
yeah.
In the movie, she looks like around 14. She's actually 14.
Mm,
And even the girl that played her, it's interesting because her dad died at an early age.
wow.
Um, so this, and then you find out later in the movie that before this guy even had a relationship with this girl, she already had a relationship with this guy who was a screenwriter, right?
Wow.
Yeah, and this guy was a nut job, like,
Mm,
and then he wanted to bring her into. She ended up leaving because he was trying to get her into like doing all this crazy stuff, right?
yeah.
And there was even in that movie, 1962, there's this stuff that maybe back then people didn't pick it up, but there was a lot of like little gay type innuendos between uh men. You know, that guy, the guy who basically sexually abused her
Mm,
when she was. So if the girl was 12, then she had, and this was before he met her, then she was obviously like maybe 10
yeah.
or 10, you know, when
When
this
the
playwright
screenwriter, yeah.
or yeah, screenwriter, this guy got involved with her. I was just amazed that they made this movie, but they had to do it in a way you could tell they did it in a way where they never like kissed on screen. They kind of alluded to things, but they
Yeah,
never said the things.
right.
Right? It didn't go that deep, but the book does. And it's just all this underlining like grooming going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then it's interesting that Stanley Kubrick was like obsessed with certain stories like that. You know,
Yeah.
uh even his like we're talking about The Shining, his rendition of Shining was so different than the book. Like Stephen King hated it. He hated Stanley Kubrick's movie because
Mm.
he did so many things that were not in the original story, and he like created his own version of it. But because it seemed like he had a purpose, a mission, he was trying to say something with that film. Um,
I was just about to ask, was he trying to tell
I
the
think
world
so.
something?
I think so. And I mean, you know, he
And
was.
because
Look
it's
at
not a coincidence.
yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
it's not a coincidence that that was his last movie, The Eyes Wide Shut,
Right. And why was that his last movie, Mo?
because he was trying to expose something,
No, I'm saying like
something that
what
was
happened? What happened to
real.
him?
He got
A mysterious death before the film was
yeah
finished, and
yeah
then the studio took
he,
the
he
film.
got
The studio took the film, did a new edit on it, and removed footage that no one has seen to this day
Yeah,
in the
so there's
film.
like 20 something minutes
Yeah.
of the film missing.
Yes. And people always allude
yeah
to like what
and
that footage was, but nobody knows. And he's not alive to tell the story. So whatever they and think about what they left in the film. Like a lot of people didn't pick up on that last scene of the film, but I remember having that conversation with James years ago because he was talking about Eyes Wide Shut, and I was telling him about how, like, yeah, it was about the elites and you know the story of this broken marriage, but it also was about uh, this ritual abuse and how when people get mixed up with these elite families and this like man high powered political figures and they get caught into that world that they will sacrifice their own children. And if you look at like the last scene of that film, when they're having that conversation and they're at that party with their daughter, and I always remember seeing like they're having this conversation and the daughter just walks away with these two older men, and then that's no one, they never like look
that's
for
it.
her. That's it. That's the end of it. And it's like, okay, did they just give their daughter up? Did they offer their daughter up to these men?
And I wanted to, speaking of that, have you done any research on this John Benet Ramsey connect
Dude,
that
the
we kind
stuff that I saw, the stuff that you sent me, and I saw like the clips that people have been posting about, yeah, the fact that it really seems like Epstein might be connected to the John Benet Ramsey thing, but also that her family was probably involved in it as well.
yeah,
But I've seen
which
like
is
so
which is
many.
kind of
Go ahead.
it was kind of there was similar things to it with the two men that took her away at the end of the movie,
Yeah,
right? There was a girl who was in dance class with her, that these two men would come to the dance class. I don't know if I sent you that video.
no, I don't
Did I?
think so.
No, I didn't send you that.
No.
Yeah, there was the girl who was in dance class with her. She found it weird, like towards the end of her, she ended up quitting John Benet Ramsey, but towards the end, these two men would show up and would like kind of take her away. And at the now, this is somebody talking about it, so we're kind of speculating right now, but it's just interesting, and also the fact that in the files there is a picture of Epstein with a girl on his shoulders,
And her face is redacted. Yeah.
and her face is redacted, wearing the same thing that she had on. But there's another picture that you can see the side. It's like a
Well, it's a
side.
picture of him. It's a picture of his house where you can see that same picture from an
Right,
angle.
but it's from an angle, so
Yeah.
it looks like her
Yeah.
from that angle, but it's still an angle.
Right.
Blonde hair, same look, same
Same clothes,
clothes.
same
So
age. Yeah.
it's very crazy. And even how that whole thing happened, she was taken on Christmas, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't it Christmas she was taken?
Or Christmas Eve, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that whole thing was always weird and how it played out. But I think the bigger thing is this stuff has been this is what has been going on, and it has to be in the darkness, because if it's brought into the light, too many people would reject it, right?
Yeah. But I
But
think this is
I
why.
think go ahead. What were you
No,
gonna say?
I was just going to say, I think this is why you see such a push and people like Epstein funding the ideology to push more and more LGBTQ, more and more gender weirdness, more and more of blurring those lines between what's acceptable and what's not acceptable, because eventually it won't have to be in the shadows anymore. you can push it to be accepted little
Yeah,
by little.
exactly. That's what I was. That was my next thing
Mm.
that I was gonna say. And I think we were talking. It's funny. We were talking about this at church. Church, right? We're talking about Baal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And kind of went into where Jesus says you can't serve two masters, and Baal was the god of. He was the god over like financial success, like agriculture, making sure it rained, that your crops grew, right? Making sure you had money, making sure you were prosperous, you had kids, all these things.
Yeah.
So, and the thing with Baal is you'd only have to do rituals, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there was no with God. God promises all these things in His Word, but you have to be obedient to Him, right? And you have to have a relationship with Him.
Yeah.
But with Baal, it was just no, do this and you get this, right?
Right.
And a lot of it was child sacrifice,
Mm-hmm.
right? A lot of it was child sacrifice. Another thing was um, temple prostitutes, right? That was a whole other thing. Temple
Yeah.
prostitutes. You do sexual stuff with the temple prostitutes, and you receive from this. So there were all these things going on at that time that we kind of like. Nobody worships other gods out in the open in that way anymore,
Right.
right? So it's kind of that's why we're saying it's in the dark. But now are these gods attempting to come back into power?
Right. I think
Right.
they are.
Right. And we say this verse a lot. In Ephesians 6, it says that we don't wrestle against flesh and blood, but against powers, principalities, or that word in the Greek is archons, um, things in high places, spiritual darkness. So we wrestle with these things. Um, and the wrestling is in our minds. It's our hearts and our minds,
Yeah.
right? Are we going to accept it or not? And we accept things by what we see. So if we're looking at these things over and over again with our eyes and hearing these things with our ears, eventually we say, oh, there's nothing wrong with it. And then we accept it. So it's little by little. We accept it in, right? And then eventually it's become so powerful, we can't do anything about it, right? It shows its actual self.
Yeah.
What do you, I know you got something.
Well, I was just looking up in the files because I did hear that the term bail was in the Epstein files multiple times. Um, yeah, and it looks like
That's
there's like
interesting.
it looks like there's a bunch of documents that have that word in it. So I would have to do some research and really go in and see what those documents are. But I mean, it's obvious.
Wasn't his email Bell the something
Uh,
Epstein's email name
let
or
me see.
tag or something or whatever? I think it was called that.
I don't think so. That sounds like something somebody made up.
Really?
Yeah, I don't see any. I don't see that.
I think it was a pretty credible source. Let me see if I can find it. But
Oh, so I see what this is. So, yeah, people were reporting that he had a bank account that he named Baal, but if you look at the document, it's not. Someone misinterpreted that. It's a whatever like they use to recreate this document or whatever. It says Baal name Wachovia Bank, which I think is a misinterpretation of the text there. Like whatever they scanned it in, it should say bank name Wachovia Bank, and it says Baal name Wachovia Bank. So I think people got mixed up with
Um,
that, and um, they started creating a like that's the other thing about this is there's so
creating
much,
things.
yeah, there's so much information coming out, and there's so much to go through, and people want to find stuff so bad that they're like, trying to connect certain dots that don't connect. Especially with the we saw it with the Trump stuff, but uh, we do know, like, Jay-Z being mentioned in there. The story that he's mentioned in is very crazy, but Nicki Minaj talking about the satanic rituals in the industry and all of that. We have shown in the past, that Jay-Z does you know, look up to Aleister Crowley. At least he's wearing his law on his shirt, "Do What Thou Wilt," which we know is an antichrist, statement about "Do What Thou Wilt" is the whole of the law. That's Aleister Crowley's um, doctrine. And Jay-Z was wearing that shirt years ago. And then I don't, you guys remember this video? We've seen this. We've played this before in the past. This video of him and Marina Abramovich doing some weird ritual thing at some art gallery. And if anybody doesn't know who this woman is, this is a very old. People have called her a witch. People have called her all kind of things, but she's very much into spirit cooking. She was mentioned. The first time I heard about her was in the Podesta emails that were leaked by a DNC worker who ended up dead shortly after that. And this happened right before the election in 2016, which a lot of people credit to the fact that why Hillary Clinton lost, because all of her emails were being leaked through that. And that's when we first found out about spirit cooking. That's when we found out about Marina Abramovich. That's when we found out about Pizzagate, which everyone tried to condemn as a conspiracy theory and tried to tell us that, it was just a bunch of wackaloons reading into things on Reddit and on 4chan, and to not believe what you saw, even though the people that really dug into it and saw the documentaries and saw the stuff that people were putting together knew that this was some real stuff. And the crazy thing is to see these Epstein leaks now confirm a lot of those things. The term pizza being
Yeah.
in these documents over and over and over again, being used in weird ways. The same stuff that we saw in the emails we're seeing in Jeffrey Epstein's emails. The same language, coded language about, bringing cheese pizzas with walnuts and having a map and all this weird language that the FBI has come out in the past and shown that it's connected to child sexual abuse and pedophilia. So,
Yeah. So earlier today, actually, something happened where uh, somebody was talking about Pizzagate, and they brought that up. Oh, Pizzagate started when a guy went to a pizza shop and started shooting it up, and it was just a regular pizza shop that it didn't even have a basement or anything like that. And I was like, hold up, first of all, and that kind of like triggered my brain because we talked about that before. You know how they coined the phrase conspiracy theorists,
yeah,
and they make you look crazy. That made me really think that, man, that really worked. You know what I mean? Like,
bro.
that made
As soon as I
that
heard,
guy going there.
yeah,
That was like kind of like a, whoop. Let's do this to make it seem like that person is crazy. Let's forget about all the language that's in there.
dude. As soon as that story hit the news, the Pizzagate story died. So what are the chances
Hmm.
that someone wasn't either, because we're seeing now with like these chat rooms and how the feds will um encourage people that don't have it all there to go out and do these type of operations, just like the Governor Whitmer kidnapping thing that they planned
Mm-hmm.
out and brought people along for. Like when we're finding out how the feds will create these scenarios where they can get people to do things to then create a narrative around it. So when the Pizzagate thing
Yeah.
was blowing up and everyone was talking about it and people were like, it was on mainstream news. That's how much people were talking about it. That what are the chances that this guy wasn't radicalized by some feds on a chat room forum somewhere and told that he needs to go do this? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then and
Yeah.
when you come to find out that he went into this place and shot off a round in this pizza parlor, which they claim doesn't have a basement. They claim all these things about it, but we know the truth because we saw video footage. We've heard things. We saw James Alefonte's Instagram page before he made it private and erased all the stuff that was there. People had that stuff all over the internet.
Mm-hmm.
His boyfriend's Instagram page, all the people that were following them, all the weirdos and the weird stuff that they were posting. We saw all that stuff. But this guy goes in there, shoots off a round into the pizza parlor, and the round hits the computer and the hard drive and damages the computer and the hard drive so that there is nothing to see here, basically. Nothing to gain from this story. Kind of like the Somalis who the guy broke in to steal the documents
Yeah.
from the
Yeah.
kids. You
Yeah.
know,
Somebody broke in and they stole, all the kids' paperwork and everything.
So let's think about this. Like what you're talking about, it just reminds me of sleeper cells.
mm-hmm.
And what are sleeper cells?
Well, didn't that come from the MK Ultra project where they would
Yeah, in a way. And it comes. People have been. What happened in the MK Ultra project?
so they did a lot of psychological experimentation on people, a lot of soldiers and military people, and they use a lot of drugs and a lot of like torture and just psychological things, like psychological testing on people to see if they can mind control them and get them to do the bidding of the government or whatever. And a lot of times they would have these triggers that would be able to activate someone who was like dormant or a sleeper cell. Like they would just be living their normal life and then they could use one little thing to trigger them into carrying out a mission or something like that.
Right. So and this is another thing that happens with a lot of these kids, and what has happened, and people have come out who have grown up and
Yeah.
are in their 30s, 40s, is that not only are they abused sexually, but they're abused in other ways. They're tormented
Yeah.
for the sake of attempting to fragment them. And this is where you have to understand how the mind works. The amygdala, which is interesting. You know what the amygdala is looks like and is called?
No.
Almond.
Mm.
Which, if we know in the Bible, um, the almond, the word for almond is the same word for watch or awake,
Right.
right? But it's also connected to the almond is the almond tree is called the waker tree,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's even the menorah, the light of the menorah is connected to that. But going back to what happens is when we don't know how to deal with situations, our brain separates from itself. When we
Yeah.
have threats, the amygdala activates because of it when it perceives that there's a threat, right?
Yeah.
And that's when it activates. For kids, obviously, kids are easier to put in fear, right? They're easier to make afraid. So when this happens, we separate from ourselves, from our subconscious. What's the main part of the brain that processes things and thinks things through?
The hippocampus.
No, that's the memory part.
Mm.
But it's the prefrontal cortex.
Oh,
But the
okay.
hippocampus is the place where that's where it'll store the triggers,
Right.
right?
Right.
So when the amygdala um, realizes there's a threat, it does it through processing of the hippocampus. So if you've already, like, triggers are in the hippocampus, but they activate the amygdala, right?
Yeah.
Unless you've never been through it before. Like, when we don't know how to grasp a situation, we've never been through that experience, our amygdala automatically gets raised to the forefront, right? Um, but when we have no way to deal with something, there's nothing we can do. We can't run, right? Fight or flight. We can't run. We can't fight. That's when we fracture, right? And so the only thing that the brain can do is separate, and we kind of go unconscious. And another part of ourselves that now comes to the surface to deal with it. So that's where we got like multiple personality disorder, which is now called dissociation identity disorder,
Right.
right? DID.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the whole thing with the what's it called? The MK Ultra stuff. And you see this, so like when you see these movies like Lolita,
Yeah.
right? The interesting thing was the guy never even realized that he was being played by the girl the whole time. This teenager, right? This young girl, because she was so good at, she had no emotions. Like, really, like, in terms of dealing with these things, it was weird. She had no emotions to show him in that way. So things didn't affect her like a regular kid, the way it would affect a regular kid. It didn't affect her in that way because she had been abused. Right. So this is what happens, and this is what people go through. So sleeper cells are like, how do you get awakened? You get awakened because you're triggered by something you think is a threat. And this is, so then how do you do that? They do it they can say a color or something, but how do you make a color cause a trigger? Because you constantly torture somebody and show them that color over and over again, right? And then they start to connect the color. It's like, you know how a smell connects to a memory, right, that you've had in the past, and it brings you back. Oh man, like, I know for us, Jamie, cut grass.
Oh yeah, that
right
fall, that fall cut grass.
It would always remind us of soccer, right? Like, soccer's about to start, so it's not a bad thing, but it could be bad, right? It could become something that triggers you. So now it's funny because now everybody's woke, right?
Everybody's
woke.
triggered by everything.
They're triggered by everything, but the woke is all fear. So now it's so funny because the enemy works by fear, God works through faith. So God says, I'm watching over my word to perform it. So the way God works is that through our faith, things come to pass. But for people in the kingdom of the world, under fear, you see threats, and now you go and work to deal with those threats in your own way, trying to get your own control, right, back that you think you have, which is actually an illusion because you don't have control. So this is the kingdom of darkness versus the kingdom of light. The kingdom of light causes us to settle ourselves, to not be to have self-control, think things through, process things, right, with our prefrontal cortex. And this is why when you speak to people that have been awakened to the darkness, right, which is fear, and sees threats with everything, you're racist, you're a bigot, you're this, you're that, right? That's all threats. When you deal with that, when you speak logic to them, they can't comprehend it.
Right.
Because everything they don't process things with the prefrontal cortex in that way.
Yeah.
Right? There's no trust. They literally don't trust anybody. And they only connect to people through others not trusting.
That's pretty interesting because you're making me think of people that grew up in the hood and grew up in chaotic environments like that. Um,
Yeah. Well,
because
that's my
that's
point.
yeah,
Because now what are we seeing? Not just in the hood, but in America,
mm-hmm,
divorce is higher, right? People
yeah.
aren't growing up with fathers. Families are broken.
Birth rate is down, plummeting.
Birth rate is down. These are all things that affect, when women aren't having babies, not to say that women have to have babies, but the point is the majority of women
They
should
have
be
to.
they should be getting married, having babies. Not everybody,
Yeah,
but if the majority of women are being fed the feminist lie,
yeah.
right? Feeling like they got to go out, they got to put their career first,
They got to be a
right? They're
boss.
not going
Yeah.
to get married.
Put yourself first.
Put yourself first. So now, and these are all things based off of fear,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I'm just as good as a man. Well, you said that based off of fear of not being just as good as a man,
Yeah.
right? So now that's what you're reacting in.
Or fear
There's
that
the
men
trigger.
are trying to put you underneath of them through oppression
Right.
and the patriarchy. So it's the fear of, oh, I'm being told that I'm it's not that this is better for me or that this is the life that I want. It's that men are forcing me to do this. So now I have to, this is freedom for me to do what men don't want me to do.
Right.
It's the
And the
lie.
moment it looks like that, it doesn't have to be that. It doesn't even have to be the reality of that. Like the moment it seems to kind of look like that, you're triggered.
Yeah.
And now you can't even be talked to because you're in fight or flight and nothing makes sense but what you think you know.
Yeah.
You're actually, you know what it does? It causes you to fill in the blanks or the blind spots that you can't even see
Mm.
with information. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So then we're dealing with, so then what happens? Men can't be with women. Women can't be with men. We can't have families,
Yeah.
right?
And that's the
Kids are,
crisis.
we're having babies outside of a stable houses,
Yeah.
right? These kids are growing up in fear, more fear, because they don't know how to process through things because that's what fathers are supposed to be there for,
Right.
right? So it's becoming the perfect environment to cause more death and destruction. And this is why the church matters.
Yeah. But this is the thing, like the church doesn't touch any of this stuff for the most part.
I would say some do,
But
right?
I'm saying in mass, like when you look at the broader, and maybe because it seems like those that don't want to be exposed avoid certain topics. I don't know if we're finding out that there's a lot of this going on in the churches too. I don't know if you guys heard about that. That Sean Ryan's being sued by some Christian camp that apparently like thousands of children have been molested at, and he showed some documents about that, and like so, I feel like
So he's
they're
being sued by them
by the Christian
because,
by the church because
okay.
not because what he said isn't true, but because it's hurting their business basically.
Hmm.
But yeah, he was just talking about that, and he said, "I'm not backing down. Like I know for a fact that everything that I said was factual, and bring the lawsuit because I'll get discovery. I'll find out who knew what. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
yeah, I forget the name of the church, but I mean the camp. But yeah, it was a Christian camp that was knowingly uh, making people that were victims of this sign NDAs, things like horrible stuff. Um, and it's
Wow.
thousands of kids. Um, but yeah, so what my point was that I feel like a lot of church establishments avoid the topic because people could turn shine that light back on them, and there's a lot of the stuff that goes on in these establishments. I mean, how many times have we heard about this in the Catholic Church and even in like black churches and these now we're finding out in these other Christian organizations, like there's a lot of this going on. And if you avoid the topic altogether, Like it's weird to me that churches aren't openly
Then
talking
it
about.
won't you won't bring that. Yeah,
Yeah,
you won't bring that.
you won't get that smoke. You won't
No,
get that smoke.
you don't want
I
that
mean, I
smoke.
think it has to do with a lot of people don't know that they're under fear.
Mm,
You know, like I don't think I think a lot of people think about it like I don't think a lot of people know that they've made agreements with, and I hate to be like with Baal, and
mm-hmm.
so to speak, right?
Yeah.
Because outwardly it looks like everything's working, and you know we got it. Yeah, we're doing this for families, and we got all these things going on. And but let me say this: I think there are a lot of churches that are doing stuff that is outside of that, right?
Of course. Yeah.
But I think we don't realize because it's not so obvious. Again, it's not so obvious. Like in the Old Testament, it was like they're worshiping Baal. But here's the thing: when Elijah was coming against the prophets of Baal and the prophets of Ashtaroth, he was like, "How long will you limp between two opinions? If God is, I mean, if Yahweh is God, then worship him. If Baal is God, worship him." Right?
Yeah.
So they were kind of like mixed up in who Yahweh was. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Is Yahweh really God or is Baal really God? You know.
Right.
So I think for us, it's kind of the same thing. Like, who are we serving, and recognizing in ourselves, like, well, why am I doing that? Why do I feel like I got to do this thing? Because we grow up in this stuff and we think, oh, that's just the way it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's just how we live. But yeah, we do have to call this stuff out. It's got to be brought to the light. And I think, again, once it's brought to the light, it can't hide anymore.
Yeah. I
It's
agree.
one thing when people are saying, no, this is who we are. You know,
Yeah.
like it shouldn't be surprising that Bad Bunny is saying the things that he's saying
Yeah.
and doing the things that he's doing. That should not be surprising. He's shown you that. You know what I mean? So I don't get when people are like, "Oh man, the
Mhm.
music industry." Yeah,
Yeah.
like they're showing it to you. You know, but it's different when it's churches.
Mm-hmm.
It's different when you're trying to act like you're something that you're actually not. When you're abusing kids, but then acting like you're
Helping
caring
them.
for
Yeah.
helping kids and caring for them. And yeah, that's in the world too. But I mean, it's giving. It's now you're dealing with the name of God.
Yeah.
Now you're trampling on the name of God,
You're
right?
literally using the
Which
Lord's name in vain.
which again is if Yahweh is God, worship him. So what's Elijah doing? He's coming to bring like a separation between, no, these are the things of Baal, these are the things of Yahweh, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have to know the name of God, right? Yahweh.
Yeah.
And I think in this world, and that's why how many people say, I think this was going around in the Grammys, like, oh, I just want to thank God, or some people, I just want to thank Jesus, and like everything that they do is the opposite of that,
Yeah.
right? So,
Yep.
what Jesus are you serving? What God are you serving? And in America, it's like if we say God, oh, it must be the God of the Bible,
Right.
you know?
Uh, did you see? Speaking of that, did you see Jelly Roll's speech?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. He performed with Brandon Lake, correct?
I didn't see any of the.
I didn't see the
Yeah,
performances
I
here.
just
Yeah.
saw that he was praising God
Praising
and thanking
Jesus
Jesus.
in his speech. A lot of people were annoyed by that. I was seeing it on X. They were like, people need to leave this out of the Grammys. Like, if you want to leave politics out of the Grammys, you should leave this out of the Grammys.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I don't think. Hey, man, he's new. First of all, he's a new believer.
Yeah.
He's very new, you know.
Yeah.
But it's so funny. You know what? Here, I'm gonna give you an example of this. So somebody I know. You guys know. I'm not gonna say the names. I'll just say it's a she. So she was posting stuff on Instagram about like, if you're a Christian, you shouldn't be. How could you support ICE if you're a Christian? It was all this Christian.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, So I wrote to her and I said, "Oh, you're a Christian? I didn't know you were a Christian. I like hearing how people came to God. So what's your story?" Never wrote me back,
Yeah.
right? Because and I didn't say anything like, "But she's not a Christian," right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But maybe I didn't know, so I'm like, well, maybe she is, right? But why did she write me back? Because she's not. So you have like people who aren't Christians trying to tell people who are Christians how
How
they
they're
should be acting,
supposed to be acting. Yeah.
and you don't even know the Bible. You don't
Right.
even know how a Christian's supposed to act.
Right.
Now, if you know the Bible and you can hold people accountable, I have no problem with people outside of Christianity doing that. But the problem is there's people who are trying to hold people accountable and they have no clue what the Bible says.
Yeah. Yep. They're trying
Who
to
is it?
weaponize it.
Who was it? Nah, I'm joking. I'm joking. Are you seeing? Are you seeing seeing that, Jay?
The comments? Yeah, I don't know who is that. Talk, talking about they especially don't trust white men. Who don't trust white men? I don't know. But yeah, so just real
Oh,
quick,
I
just
think they're saying like, like people. That's the thing. Like they don't trust white men more than anything else. That's white men are like the fall guys right now.
oh yeah, yeah.
uh,
Maybe that's what they mean.
Let me show y'all this just so I can put it out there. So yeah, the group was called the Kanakuk Ministries, a Christian camp in Branson, Missouri, with a history of child abuse in the early 2000s. And Elizabeth Phillips was a guest on Ryan's past interview, alleged grave misconduct tied to Kanakuk Ministries, and now the ministry-based summer camp is demanding Sean Ryan take that portion of his interview down. We're unpacking that story, blah blah blah. Yeah, so he fired back at them today, I think, and was like, "Listen, I'm not taking nothing down." So yeah, it's definitely a weird story, but we've seen this in the past with many organizations that will claim to be helping children, and it's very. I mean, again, this is something that we saw in Hillary's emails. This is something that we saw with what they're doing
I
with
was just about to mention that Hillary, the Clintons, and Haiti.
yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. Like they got caught smuggling children out of Haiti. One of her aides. Then and the crazy part about this is another journalist the one who broke that story ended up dead. We man, what was that story from the who took Johnny Gosh documentary on YouTube? What was the name of Boys Town? Something like that.
Mm.
I think you're right.
Yeah, another political entity that was supposed to be helping boys, but they were all being abused. When you look at Stranger Things is based off of a real place that was experimenting on young people. You know what I mean?
Montauk.
Montauk.
Montauk,
Yeah.
New York, right? The Montauk Chronicles, which was an underground military base where they were really doing experiments on children. That's where the Stranger Things story came from. They actually were going to call the town Montauk, but Netflix made them change it. I wonder why. Yeah, so I mean, we showed our very first episode. We talk about it all the time. Very first episode, we have that clip where we talked about the baby burlesque thing, and to this day, when people see that clip, sometimes they still had no idea. And then they're like, man, I never realized how dark and weird the Shirley Temple stuff was. I just always thought it was innocent. But when you go in and you look at, especially the way she was treated and the stories that she told, her mother, stuff that happened with the agents inside the offices and closed doors, the stories that she's told. Jake's talking about Lolita. We're talking about Eyes Wide Shut here. I mean, this Epstein stuff is very, very disturbing. I want to go through a little bit of what came out in these documents real quick, real fast. I'll go through some of it. There was George Bush was in there. This document here is saying that George Bush Sr. allegedly raped a male victim child, and and witnessed some type of ritualistic sacrifice. And this is all mentioned in the document here. This one is Prince Andrew, who's being accused of torturing a traffic girl, and I think there was a picture that people found that went along with this. Then you have Jeffrey Epstein was colluding with journalist Michael Wolff to obtain compromising Trump information from Epstein, which Epstein admitted that he did not have. Of course, everybody in the mainstream media was jumping on this little portion here, and they were sharing it everywhere. This channel here was the first one, Media Touch. This new Epstein file production features numerous allegations made against Donald Trump and others. And they showed this one allegation here where it was apparently a young girl who accused Donald Trump of being there when she was essayed. But they all seem to leave out the most important part. They crop out the area where it says the complainant was spoken to and deemed not credible. Additional research showed 3 separate incidents involving police, which requested mandatory psychiatric evaluation. Also, there was an article written about it in 2016 where it said troubled woman with a history of drug abuse who claimed that she was assaulted by Donald Trump at Jeffrey Epstein's sex party at age 13 made it all up. So they always leave that part out of it when they're all sharing this one story. Trump is in the Epstein files. And then they also say Trump was in the Epstein files this many times to show that he was mentioned in there numerous times. But what they don't say is most of those times came from a hotline that they opened up. And a lot of those accusations came in around 2025, which I find it to be very telling because we were talking about this back when Trump was like saying that it's a hoax. I think that was part of, he knew that they were trying to like flood this hotline with accusations against him so that it would end up in the files. You know what I mean? And I think that that's why he was trying to avoid it coming out.
Because again, if they had anything, you think that the whole time Biden was president, that they would not have used this?
They would have definitely put it out.
Yeah.
They would have definitely put it out.
Or at least put out the parts about Trump.
The parts about him, for sure.
Yeah.
It would have been conveniently leaked to the New York Times. You know what I mean? Trump, and they would have put out all the information they could, especially to stop him from getting elected again. Okay, so let's get back through some of this. So this was a huge bombshell. Jay-Z and Pusha T are among names mentioned in the newly released Epstein-related files. How will the black community take this about their beloved Jay-Z, who they address as Hove from Jehovah? And I'll just read a little bit of this so we can go through this because this has spiraled in other ways. So it's a lot of redactions in here. Redaction called the FBI National Threat Operations Center to identify herself as a victim of sex abuse by Jeffrey Epstein and others. Redacted provided the following information. In approximately 1994, Redacted revealed herself to as a past victim of sex abuse by Epstein. She described the abuse occurred during parties. Further identified as a friend of Redacted. In approximately 1996, Redacted resided with Redacted in Redacted, and unknown man abducted Redacted from her home, whence she later awoke in the presence of Harvey Weinstein and Sean Carter, parentheses Jay-Z, while Weinstein had inserted his fingers into Redacted. She believed she was in Epstein's mansion in Florida. Estimated she was abducted on several occasions, awakened each time in a opulent indoor setting, suffered from sex abuse on multiple of those occasions in which Epstein participated, recalled Leon Black and William Barr, currently United States Attorney General, being present during some of the occasions of abuse in approximately 2006. Last recalled being abused by Epstein on. So this came out.
So to be fair, is this kind of the same thing with like the same stuff with Trump? You know, where it was kind of like not credible?
So This hasn't been investigated.
Okay.
So
At all.
the one with Trump, they investigated the girl and found her not to be
Okay.
credible. This one right here,
Okay.
well, we don't have any more information about this, but we've never heard about this. Uh, this is the first we're hearing about it, and the accusation is pretty bad. And plus, we had these accusations from the Tony Busby case before, um, when the Diddy trial was going on. You remember all of that, right? And it's looking very suspicious because right after that, Jay-Z deactivated his Instagram account after he lost 10 million, or he lost some followers. Beyonce lost 10 million followers, and Jay-Z, after Jay-Z's name was exposed, and I believe he lost a couple million as well, or something like that. And then, Jay-Z always keeps things close to the chest, so I don't think we're going to hear anything from him. But yeah, that was in there. Jeff,
It's
here's
very strange though that his page. I actually, when I saw that they said he deleted most of the stuff that's on his page. I went to his page just to look, and it
yeah,
was true.
yeah,
And I screenshot and I sent it to y'all. Why
yeah,
would you do that?
yeah. It's suspicious. It's very suspicious.
You know,
Yeah. Here's some other weird stuff that we found in the emails. Jeffrey Epstein spoke to Harvard scientists about sexual benefits of turning children trans and spoke of doing so as young as 3 years old. In this, he talks about, let's see, by blocking testosterone receptors or castration at the same time, increasing estrogen production. The one blocks male features. The second encourages female features. More masculine women, heavy testosterone dosage. Blah 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 blah. First attractors. We are now pushing the intervention earlier, so you notice your 3-year-old son has trans tendencies. So now you're intervene with the hormones. I would be frightened to do that, but who knows? Yeah, so he was introducing these ideas back in 2018.
Mm.
Here's someone talking a little bit more about, because there's other documents regarding this thing too.
Wait, you mean transgenderism was an evil psyop the whole time? From Robert Trivers, renowned evolutionary biologist who studied sexual selection in populations of animals, to Jeffrey Epstein, subject trans. We are now pushing the intervention earlier, so you notice your 3-year-old son has trans tendencies, so now you intervene with hormones. Notice this, ready? I would be frightened to do so, but who knows? In other words, I wouldn't do it to my kid, but let's push it on their kids. Why would they do that? Oh, to help people? No, to increasingly produce novel phenotypes, more feminine men, by blocking testosterone receptors or through castration. The purpose of which is to create degenerate sexual fantasies, which promote prostitution and pornography and keep people paying for the injections, which are costly. This was never about medicine. It was promoting satanic, destructive, antenatal social patterns that these people can subvert and make money off of, while destroying your children's lives and your nation, because they hate you and they think of you like cattle.
And not only, it's just what we were just talking about. Not only is it because it makes money, it's because it continues to push that Overton window into more and more degeneracy, where then you can, if you can blur the lines between what sex is or what age someone can decide what gender they are, you can blur that line on what age they can decide when they want to have sex. You can make that leap can happen at some point. You just have to continually move that Overton window. And that's part of the agenda here. Let's see. Here we go. Something that kind of was confirming Pizzagate. This was Hillary Clinton email to look to it's to Huma Abedin, Barack Obama, John Podesta, Ben Affleck, Nancy Pelosi. Uh, January 25th, 2011, 3:28 p.m. When we begin the pizza arrangement, I thought we were going to be more careful than this. Operating from the White House is not what I originally had in mind. Remember that the hot dogs can come, but if you make a spectacle of it, that will be our downfall. Please know that I am speaking as a friend. You are the president and can do as you like, but I have to say, I think it would be wiser to restrict the activity to our predetermined locations. Let me know what everyone thinks. We can vote if you'd like. Does that sound like
It's
a
weird.
normal email?
It's very weird, especially with the hot dog talk from before
Yeah.
that we know about from the Podesta
And
files.
and pizza arrangement.
Uh,
When we began the pizza arrangement, and then you talking about hot
mhm.
dogs, and then remember when in the Podesta files we saw the email from where Obama ordered $65,000 worth of hot dogs to the White House?
Yes, sir.
What do you need? How do you even have that many hot dogs? That's insane. But yeah, Pizzagate was a hoax. Um, Also, I wanted to show you guys this because this was insane. All the people that play the Powerball all the time, hoping to win. This kind of just shows you that this stuff is. And I've heard from other people that the Powerball is like a CIA thing where they get. This is how they can get untraceable money from the public by having people gamble it on the Powerball and stuff like that. But so back in 2008, Jeffrey Epstein Zorro Trust won $85 million Powerball jackpot. How's that possible?
It's not.
How's that possible?
You're cheating the system.
Cheating the system. I thought that was interesting. That came out in the files. This came out in the files. Children were being sent to Epstein's Isle on Disney cruises.
Mm.
That came out in the documents. What's this right here? Oh, did you guys hear about the guy who came out on 4chan the day? I think it was like the day of or the day before, the morning of Epstein's death. Yes, the guy who made the 4chan post about how he worked at the prison and he saw a truck pull up that didn't follow protocol and he didn't know what it was doing there. Let me see. I'll see if I can pull it up here. So it says, not saying anything after this. Please do not try to dox me. But last night at 4:15, count, they took him medical in a wheelchair, front cuffed, but not one. Triage nurse says they spoke to him. Next thing we know, a trip van shows up. We do not do releases on the weekends unless a judge orders it. Next thing we know, he puts in a single man cell and hangs himself. Here's the thing. The trip van did not sign in and we did not record the plate number, and a guy in a green dress military outfit was in the back of the van according to the tower guy who let him through the gate. You guys, I'm shaking right now, but I think they switched him out. Yeah, this was his Reddit post, and apparently the FBI investigated this guy because they saw this and were freaked out about it. So somebody who is claiming to have worked there is saying that they think that they switched his body out before he was quote unquote hanged, before he hanged himself, quote unquote. Just more stuff in the files. Here's the founder of an adoption charity asking Epstein if he needed any new steaks for his island because he only had 2 left. Listen to this. I will be sending fresh muffins down with Karina. You currently have 2 steaks left on the island. Would you like new ones? What?
Yeah, that's weird.
What are muffins and what are steaks?
It's all coded language. Let me see. what's this right here? I just saved a bunch of stuff the people are still going through these files like crazy because there's so many documents. It's like, man, insane. So Epstein tells Ariane de Rothschild not to put any. Oh yeah. So there's a bunch of stuff. This is the other thing that people don't realize is a lot of these elite people, they're in these cults. They believe that they're connected to like royal bloodlines. They believe they're connected to superior like intelligence. They're above most people. And for people like Epstein and his ilk in that way, they even connected to the fact that they are Jewish because they see everyone else as goyim. And that's another term that is all throughout these Epstein leaks is, I mean, goyim is in there so many times, and Epstein is constantly talking about people as goyim and not to worry about the goyim. I'm going to show you some of that, but this one was him talking about not to hire any Kenyans. You should have money under the soil, maybe loan from the bank. It says new advisory board, Summers, Eba, Prisker, no diplomats, etc. Not African, serious people with strong finance operations, reputation, not charity, preferable some Jews. So he didn't want any Africans hired on this board. And black people were mad about this. There was other emails where he said not to bring any black girls to the island. I don't know. Did you see my post about that when I posted the Key and Peele skit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The zombies. The
racist zombies.
The racist zombies.
Yeah.
That's
what it
always been
reminded me of. People were
one.
offended that he didn't want black girls on the island. It's like, you should be happy about
That's crazy.
Why are you mad at that?
Again, that's that amygdala.
Yeah.
You know, coming up. They're not processing.
Get your amygdala right.
Yeah, they were offended that he didn't want black girls on the island. It's like, you should be happy about that. So people pointed out that some of these documents show that he was involved in Bitcoin in some way.
Yeah, that he was like the founder. Or something.
Yeah, that he might be the one who created Bitcoin.
Yeah, like it's supposed to be, I don't know the name, but sounds like a Japanese name.
Satoshi.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It says letter written. There was around 12,000 comments to Bitcoin's code. Today there are 47,583 comments to Bitcoin's code. That means that 74% of the Bitcoin core development and code was committed after Jeffrey Epstein took over the de facto senior management role as benefactor. He may not have been Satoshi, but he was absolutely running the executive direction of Bitcoin on behalf of Mossad. That's pretty crazy. Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to talk about this later, but you guys remember this story we showed on the podcast before? The Hampstead children.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, these are just things that so many of this stuff we've forgotten about over the years, but this is stuff that you guys should look into. Look into this Hampstead cult that was in England. I think this was in the 90s, right?
Yeah, I think it was 90s.
Yeah, I think so.
Or the early 2000s.
Or 90s, 2000s,
yeah. Bill Gates was in there many, many times. I don't know if you guys saw a lot of that stuff. He was obsessed with Jeffrey Epstein. He was obsessed with the parties and the Russian girls. Apparently, there's documents in here where he was emailing Jeffrey Epstein, asking him how he could secretly give his wife some STI medication without her knowing, because he was getting sexually transmitted diseases from Russian hookers.
That is crazy.
Yeah. Like, he was trying to drug his wife to give her STI medication. I guess so. He wouldn't have to tell her that
So
he
she
infected
wouldn't
her.
find out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, when you hear her talk about how happy she is to be divorced from him now that all this is coming out, I saw an interview where she was just like, "Listen, whatever happened with all of that, like all those people need to be held accountable. But I'm so glad that I'm away from that." And clearly she's open about the fact that she divorced him over this. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's crazy. It's crazy. He seems to be like one of the biggest weirdos. But this was an email where they were going over pandemic stuff. And let me see, what's the gist of it? Bill Gates was planning pandemics simulations with Jeffrey Epstein back in 2017. Yeah, so they were going over doing simulations about and you remember they did that pandemic simulation right before COVID hit. But yeah, Bill Gates has been plotting this stuff forever. Then you got the Zoran Mamdani connection where his mom was attending parties with Ghislaine Maxwell back in 2009. Now all the allegations about him being Jeffrey Epstein's son don't seem that all seems fake. All the pictures of them together is all AI. But yeah, his mom definitely, she was part of that club. She was an art film director back in the day. So she was in the elite circles. She was hanging around, hobnobbing with all of them. So she was going to the parties. So it only makes sense that he would be now ushered into that ilk as being the mayor of New York. Then we have Stacey Plaskett. You guys remember the one who was presiding over the island that he's a part of her. He's one of her constituents. Remember? And when they were questioning her in front of Congress, she was lying about the fact that he was texting her during a hearing. So she was in the documents. In August 14th, 2014 email, Plaskett reached out to Jeffrey Epstein, island manager, to arrange transportation to Little St. James for August 18th, 2014. Plaskett has previously testified under oath that she only visited Epstein at his Manhattan home and her office.
Lies.
Yeah. Here's another conspiracy theory that seems to have been exposed a little bit by the Epstein documents. You guys remember the Wayfair scandal that we talked about on here before? You guys remember all those weird pieces of furniture that were going for exorbitant amounts of prices? So Jeffrey Epstein's assistant bought a single unlabeled $800,453 item from Wayfair. And this was June 28th, 2018. Right around when we were talking about it. Yeah. Bought something for $8,000 on Wayfair. Unlabeled. Let's see what else we got here. This is Jeffrey Epstein.
Furniture is expensive, man.
Yeah.
I'm looking for a bedroom set now. It's not $8,000.
Yeah.
The stuff I'm looking at.
And you think Jeffrey Epstein's buying a bed from Wayfair?
Yeah, he's getting it delivered to the island.
Yeah. Check out this email to Roger Schenck from Jeffrey Epstein. This is the way the Jew makes money and made a fortune in the past 10 years, selling short the shipping futures. Let the Goyim deal in the real world. From shipping news, the most dramatic growth has been in shipping futures, which allow shipping companies to lay off risks. The most popular futures are forward freight agreements to deliver goods, blah, 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 blah. So he's talking about how the Jews make money and let the Goyim deal in the real world. Let me see something. What was this?
Jeffrey Epstein's bank account was called Baal, the ancient Canaanite
this was
deity which
somebody
people would sacrifice their
getting that
children
wrong.
to. A victim's diary shows that she was impregnated multiple times and forced to give birth for Ghislaine and Epstein. Israel is mentioned twice as much as Donald Trump in the new documents. Here he is discussing with Roger Schank, a Jewish American academic and hedge fund worker, saying Jews create vast fortunes by manipulating markets and creating financial speculation and exploiting labor. He says, let the Goyim deal in the real world. In a discussion with the Rothschild family, Epstein says if they overthrew the Ukrainian government, there would be great opportunities. The Rothschild family paid Epstein $25 million for certain algorithms. While talking to Peggy Seigel, August 7th of 2010, she asks if an event is going to be 100% Jewish. He says no, they'll have Goyim in abundance. But don't worry, they're just brilliant wasps from JP Morgan. Joshua Finkelstein, BlackRock's Larry Finkelstein's son, is accused of not having any respect for non-Jews, seeing them as not human. This is from his ex-girlfriend, Svetlana. He pressures her to have an abortion. In 2017, Epstein has a conversation talking about if you want to hire the best people, you have to hire only Jews. Only hire those who can prove they are genetically Jewish. Maria Farmer, one of the first victims to come out and name Epstein,
I wasn't allowed to go get food. And when I called Ghislaine and asked why I couldn't eat there, she said, it's a Jewish country club. You're not Jewish. They're not going to serve you. They, honest to God, think their DNA is better than everybody else's.
said that their operation was motivated by Jewish supremacy.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff with the like these cultic people that are into this, abusing children, abusing underage girls that also think this way, which is weird. And it's a lot of documents in there that you see them talking like this in the Epstein files, which is weird. There's connections with him and Netanyahu, of course. Him meeting with him multiple times. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff, man. It's a lot of weird stuff, and more stuff is going to come out because, this is just the beginning, and there's so many documents. So I don't know. I don't know what this is going to lead to, but we were talking about this months ago about, what it's going to do if more and more information gets out. I don't know. I don't know what this leads to. I don't know what happens because of this. I don't know if it opens people's eyes to what's really going on behind the scenes.
I mean, I think the biggest thing that I think it's going to do a couple things. One thing is expose people to things to get them more comfortable with it.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing is make people afraid and try to fight themselves against it. And then the other thing that I think needs to happen is that recognize it, see the evil and the mess that's out there, and turn to God. Because that's the most important thing. Is I don't think we need to go out and try to now, like, you'll be in the same position if you're trying to like figure out everything, right? Because it's just information.
Yeah.
Right. And information in and of itself isn't going to do anything for you. But more than anything, we need revelation.
Correct.
We need the Lord. We need to hear His word. What does His word do? He brings us into covenant with Him, which is about relationship. It causes us to have hope, peace, joy, and these are things that I would say anybody needs.
Yeah.
Truly, because there can be people can take this and now they're like, "Do you see? You see? You see?" It's like, yeah, we kind of already knew, right?
Yeah.
We knew. We kind of already knew. So it's not changing a whole lot for us. I think more than anything, it's like, all right, we need the Lord.
Yeah.
I think more than anything, dude, we got to get out of this system of thinking that media's for you, the government's for you, like just relying on media, the government, thinking that people are just good. No, they're not.
Or that
You
they
know,
have your
even if they're
best
not,
interests.
yeah, even if they're not into this stuff, if they still want to make money and then they're compromising for that, that's a huge problem. So they're
Yeah.
still under that. So either way, you can't. The mistake is we've been lulled to sleep and allowed people to take control of things because it's easier for us.
Mm.
And now we have to take responsibility where we've given it up.
Yeah.
And you can't really do that unless you first give it all to God, right? So he can teach you how to take that responsibility.
Let me read some of Jordan's comments. I saw, what up, Jordan? We'll see you in a couple of days. He said, I saw that pic with the baby, but Mom Donnie was 18 in 2009, so something's off with that. Yeah. He said, yeah, I remember that Wayfair stuff seemed like it never really got denied, then just kind of went away. Exactly. Exactly. And that's what always happens. They just kind of brush it under the rug, and then we don't hear about it anymore. He said, I wonder how much within these emails is coded language beyond just the food stuff. A lot of it, man. I believe a lot of it is. I mean, it seems like these people are connected to very high up people, if not even just central intelligence. And there's a lot of stuff that they're going to try to continue to cover up. We still don't even know they confiscated Anthony Weiner's laptop. You remember that whole story? And it's so weird. Anthony Weiner was married to Huma Abedin, but was cheating with underage girls. But then Huma Abedin was Hillary Clinton's aide, and then John Podesta was Hillary Clinton. They're all like interconnected. Then they
They're all
confiscate
connected.
his laptop. Then they find more of her unsecured emails that she tried to erase from her server, and so then they reopen the investigation into her, but then they ultimately do nothing about that. But then they confiscate the laptop, and apparently they find some files on there that made grown officers, not the 9 people that were in the room, physically vomit, and then I believe all of them committed suicide. Every single officer that was involved in that investigation committed suicide or something like that. Do you guys know? Do you
No
guys?
way.
I believe so.
I don't know if it
Let
was all of them, but
me
That
check.
I don't know. That's
Let me check.
crazy.
Let me check.
If
Let me
that is
check.
true, that's freaking crazy.
yeah, I heard that too. But
Let me see. Let me see. I'm checking AI. Let's see if they have the answer. Blah, 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 says the claim appears to originate from online conspiracy. It's emerged, blah, blah, blah. Laptop was handled primarily by the FBI. Spike in officer suicides. It says in 2019, the NYPD did experience a spike in officer suicides, 9 to 10 active members that year, attributed to broader mental health challenges, policing not in a specific investigation. Conspiracy posts sometimes list names like Stephen Silks, Joseph Calabrese, blah, 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 from those suicides, and retroactively tie them to Weiner's laptop without proof of involvement. Fact checks include from platforms analyzing claims consistently find no connection. Okay, so yeah, maybe that's something that people were just connecting because there was a bunch of suicides in the NYPD that same year, and so they're connecting it to the laptop, even though they might not be connected. Yeah, so that's not verified, but I know, but there was a bunch of suicides that year, 9 to 10 active members. I believe even the like the head of the department committed suicide. Let me see. Because they don't have any connection to they can't find the connection to it doesn't mean that they. Deputy Chief Steven Silks. Yeah, so it was Deputy Chief Steven Silks. He was a respected veteran, Patrol Bureau, Queens North Executive Officer, first responder. He died from suicide shortly before mandatory retirement. Yeah, at age 62 to 63, with reports citing personal distress over retiring rather than job-related issues from any investigation. So they're saying he killed himself over.
Sure.
Yeah.
Uncle
There's
Denny said if Hillary Clinton was involved, it really wasn't suicide. I know about Vincent Foster.
Yes, we know about Vincent Foster. We just talked about Seth Rich, who was the one that leaked her emails, and we know about him as well. He was a victim of a robbery where no one stole anything, but he was shot like a bunch of times, apparently, or botched robbery out of nowhere right after he leaked her emails, just coincidentally. But yeah, I wanted to show this because this guy did a funny little parody video about everybody, about all the stuff, the way liberals reacted to the Epstein release.
Okay, this new Epstein email is kind of crazy. Look at this. Bill Gates was planning pandemic simulations with Epstein in 2017. Yeah, did you see the part about Trump and underage girls? Yeah, those are old allegations already discredited.
I was gonna send this to you,
Did
JB.
it. Okay, whatever. Check this out. An email refers to the founder of TMZ as a good friend who could help with media coverage. A pedo ring was controlling the narrative through media. Not that this is something new, but it's kind of wild. Nice, but Trump is in the files. I thought we already settled that with the facts, but Trump is in the files. Epstein had exchanges on trans children and how to normalize it. This guy wasn't just trafficking girls. He was in talks to push gender ideology. Don't care, Trump is in the files. Epstein sent an email saying Ghislaine Maxwell's father got killed after trying to blackmail Israeli intelligence. Trump, in an email to someone, Epstein said, "I represent the Rothschilds." Trump is in the files. Epstein lived in the Vatican for a while, giving design direction. Trump, he was working to overthrow Putin. Trump is in the files. He's literally in a picture with boxes containing CIA documents. Trump. Okay, there are emails about murders staged as suicides, government cover-ups, money laundering, a black market of sex trade, presidents and prime ministers all over the world, Mossad, CIA. Epstein ran at the top of global power. He had influence there. These are things to be looked at. And let's be honest, you didn't care or ask for these files when Joe Biden was president and when he had them. And now, you suddenly care about the children and the victims, and the only name that's been totally vindicated here, yet you're trying very hard to weaponize these files against, is Trump. Exactly.
Yeah, and that's exactly the sentiment that we've been seeing. I mean, even the fact that they've been pushing for these files to be released is because they want to see Trump in there, and that was all they cared about. And because for years, I mean, we showed the clip on here where Sonny Hostin was like, just because someone is mentioned in the files doesn't mean they did anything wrong. You have clips of Jimmy Kimmel saying there is no Epstein list. All these, Stephen Colbert, there's no such thing as an Epstein list. That's a conspiracy theorist. Like people, all these right-wing nuts that care about an Epstein list. And then all of a sudden, just like that, when the talking points get sent out to everybody, I guess after they had enough people call that tip line to add Trump's name to the files a bunch of times, then the narrative switched, where it's like, all of a sudden, Trump's a pedophile, released the Epstein list, he's Epstein's best friend, Epstein wrote him a birthday card, all this stuff started changing, and now that these files got dumped, they're ignoring everything else that has come out of these files, everything, all they want to see is Trump. Where's Trump? Where's Trump? It's
Trump is in the files.
hilarious, man.
TDS.
Nope. Even to the point of your girl Lizzo.
Just like the
your girl Lizzo would extreme cope about Jay-Z and the clips, and listen to her reaction to them being mentioned.
just like the American people in the comments. I knew she was wrong. Jay-Z, I knew he was. What did it say Jay-Z did? He was there in 1996. Come on, people. Like, y'all are falling for it. It's the easiest, oldest trick in the book. And honestly, I'm losing faith in the average intelligence of the American person. Because, come on, just because somebody's name is mentioned in a 3 million document file of a person's life who's been lived over crimes who've spanned decades, doesn't mean that every single person is an accomplice. He could be mentioned. He referenced Jay-Z once. He was like, oh, we could learn from Jay-Z's business model. Why are y'all, where's the crime?
First of all, that is not why he was in there. That is not why he was in there. Second of all, it's funny how they can connect all those dots, and that logic can fit into a perfect package when it doesn't come to Trump. But when it comes to Trump, if his name is they don't even want to know why his name was in there. His name's in there. That's all I care about. His name's in there. He's in the files. He's in the files. Yeah. Yeah, but that is the gymnastics that they will go through for when it's one of their own that they want to defend. So I want to move on to a couple of things. We have the SAVE Act that is in the Senate right now that they are, Chuck Schumer is vowing to keep the government shut down, because they basically don't want voter ID, and they want illegals to be able to vote so they can continue to try to steal elections. It is funny that the FBI raided Fulton County in Georgia and took all those boxes, and you saw them panicking. Have you guys seen that? That they took like 700 boxes of ballots, and the people there are panicking. So let's just watch a little. Our favorite guy, the pollster guy on CNN. He's gonna show how the American people feel about voter ID, and if it's as racist as these Democrat pundits try to make it out to be.
Take a look here. Favorite photo ID to vote. 85% of white people favor it. 82% of Latino. 76% of Black Americans favor it. So the bottom line is this. Voter ID is not controversial in this country. A photo ID to vote is not controversial in this country. It is not controversial by party, and it is not controversial by race. The vast majority of Americans agree with Nicki Minaj that, in fact, you should have a photo ID to be able to vote.
So you look at these numbers. If you aggregate that together, it is literally well over 80% of the country believes you should have voter ID. I can guarantee you the only people that are left in that, 18 to 15% are the weirdo white liberal white women and boomers that are the ones that you see on video thinking that black people don't know how to get IDs and that they don't have access to IDs. Those are the crazy people that don't want voter ID because it's clearly not an issue. It's clearly something that everyone agrees on. So I just thought that was interesting for them to be going back and forth over this, and the SAVE Act doesn't make any sense.
We need real ID to get on a plane.
Bruh, for real. They needed ID to get into the Grammys.
You need ID to get in the Democratic convention.
Right.
You need ID to buy cigarettes and alcohol.
You need ID for everything. Everybody has ID.
Yeah.
You will not find anybody that you walk up to on a daily basis, except maybe someone who's homeless or, mentally ill or something, that just does not have an ID and cannot figure out a way to get an ID.
But voting has it. They want to like voting's a right, but it should also be something that you honor and you hold high, and that's you don't do that when you make it so easy to vote. And there's no way we have no borders to have people cross over in the right way. Again, borders, right?
Yeah.
Same thing.
Uncle Denny said he worked with the guy that found the body, the Vincent Foster body. I guess he's talking about. I would love to hear that story.
Right? Go. You guys can come to the next family reunion.
I want to show you guys this. I don't know if you guys saw the picture of they finally showed the two white supremacists that took the life of Alex Preddy out there. Did you guys see them?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Let's show their picture real quick. Yeah. The left is kind of doesn't know what to do with this one because it's two brown guys were involved in that. So, yeah.
The left don't care, dude. Do you see that?
You see what?
Sorry, there's like a delay a little bit. Do you see that? It kind of went viral. The black ICE agent was interacting with a trans activist or something like that. You know, got into his face and called him the hard R.
Yeah, it called him a house
You're
nigga.
you're a house hard R.
Hold up, I think you sent it
So
to us.
you're okay. You're okay to be racist in that instant.
That's the thing is they everything they claim to stand for, they really don't. They don't believe in what they say they believe in. They only believe it if you are you know a part of their team. If you're not a part of their team, they can do anything they want to you. Let's see.
Yeah.
Rip people apart from their families.
Are you a man?
Wow. Wow, is that a question?
Wow.
Okay. Ripping people from their families. Does that feel good?
Fucking house nigga. Sir, I need to move. Fucking house nigga working for the fucking KKK. What the fuck's wrong with you people?
Why are you like we should rip people apart from their families?
Are you a man?
Yeah. So
said it twice.
Definitely call him that twice. But because he works for ICE, he's allowed to. He's not human. He doesn't deserve you know, respect or any dignity.
Yeah. That didn't show because when they went in the car, they went a little more crazy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But it's the triggers, man. Again, it's the amygdala effect. It's the woke nation. You know, this is what happens. And you said it, Jamie. The moment you're not on their team, you're not on their team.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is say something, you know, and they're gonna fight against you.
I mean, he just asked the question: are you a man?
What is this? I see Epstein file shows that Biden was unalived by a firing squad in 2019. Central casting put a fake masked Biden in office for 4 years. That cannot be true. Let's see. Maritime laws. Biden is not the current president. The mass malfunction. Whoever.
That's fake news.
It sounds fake. The person that even like posted it spelled Biden's name wrong, like in the Epstein file. It's spelled Bidan.
You didn't bring up? I don't know that girl. What's the girl's name?
Billie Eilish.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, we kind of skipped past it, so I didn't because we started going on about you know, the Epstein stuff. I was gonna go through more of the Grammy stuff with, you know, what's his name.
Yeah, that was a little ironic that she said that.
Oh, absolutely.
Isn't it ironic?
Yeah, and she got dragged for that. I don't know if you guys saw that well, if for those that didn't watch it on the Grammys, Billie Eilish won for best song or whatever, something that they finagled for her to win because that album actually came out 2 years ago. But when she gave her speech, she said no one is illegal on stolen land. Basically, and said F ICE and all of this stuff. And that was like the theme of the night. People were wearing these ICE out pins. But it's funny because her mansion is built on old native land, and the people that are a part of that tribe, I think it's like the Tonga tribe or something, they tweeted out a statement saying that we are aware that she's on our people's land and we haven't heard from her yet. So I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
But I did want to show this as we continue to talk about what's going on in with Minnesota and ICE and the investigation into Somalis. James O'Keefe had another undercover video. Show a little bit of it real quick, where he's interviewing. Well, not interviewing. He's talking to, I think it's an FBI agent. Let me see. He is talking to FBI official admits Minnesota fraud investigations will result in 0 arrests. All right, let's check out a little bit of this.
He's like a demon. 110% he's a demon. Are you serious? 110%. He's lazy. No, he's not getting his job.
I've said that if arrests do not happen, if people are not held to account, then we'll have no choice but to investigate the investigators themselves.
I am a security specialist at the FBI, so I do background checks, investigations, that type of stuff. I've been working there for 5 years now.
On hidden camera, this FBI security specialist tells us the quiet part out loud.
I don't think there's going to be any major arrests, like with Mexico or
no.
FBI.
No. Also, I don't think anybody would ever go to prison.
Now, thanks to the brave work of citizen journalists like Nick Shirley, Americans were able to see what actually happens in Minnesota outside these daycare centers.
Do you think they're going to arrest the people that are dealing with daycare stuff?
I think by the time that case is done, even being looked at, being ready to go to court, Trump won't even be in office. They would most likely be thrown out very quickly. Fraud cases like that, like money stuff, years, literal years of time. They're going to try and pin it on somebody.
I think you're badass.
Thank you.
Cheers.
James O'Keefe here reporting from Los Angeles, downtown in front of City Hall. They're having
people got to stop going on these blind dates, man. Trying to impress these hot chicks on these blind dates. Yeah, so he's literally saying right there that he doesn't think anyone's going to get arrested. They're going to tie up these fraud cases in litigation until Trump's out of office and then eventually dismiss them. Why do you think they would be willing to do that? Because they are all implicated, probably. So we need some answers on this before that happens. That's why they're so desperate to win the midterms. That's why they're so desperate to stop the deportations. They need control of the House and the Senate so that they can stop Trump from doing everything that he's doing right now. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Crazy. I'll show you guys one more video before we get out of here. I thought this was interesting. This woman is breaking down the difference between 90s kids and Gen Z kids and how video games have a lot to do with it. I don't know if you guys saw this, but I thought this was interesting.
A psychologist explained why 90s kids think differently than Gen Z. The games you played as a kid literally rewired your brain. Here's what changed. He said children in the 90s played games that forced the brain to fail and try again. Mario, Sonic, Prince of Persia. You had 3 lives, no saves, no hints. When you lost, you learned patience, planning, and frustration tolerance. Today, many games guide kids step by step.
Cheat codes.
Auto save every 10 seconds and remove real challenge. Tetris, Doom, Quake, Zelda. You had no map, no path arrows. You remembered layouts, patterns, secrets. Scientists now show that these games strengthen the hippocampus, the part of the brain for memory and navigation. Modern games often give glowing lines, GPS arrows, voice assistance. Kids follow instruction instead of figuring out.
Yeah, I found that very, very interesting because I remember being a kid playing video games and some of those, there's games that we played for days and hours and months and still never beat.
Yeah, there were games that were the one Ninja Turtles, the Snake
Yes,
level.
the snake level on Ninja
Wait, was that
Turtles.
Ninja Turtles?
No, that was Battletoads, but I know what you
That was
mean.
Battletoads. Yeah.
Battletoads, the snake level, and also the the levels where you had to ride the little bikes and like you had to dodge, like the board would
Yeah,
move and
those
you
are hard.
bro, like how many
Yeah.
times, and you had to memorize and play it over and over and over again until you
Mhm.
memorized the patterns and could beat it. I mean, I remember being, we tell the story of how we became friends with Junior, being 7, 8 years old, and Mario 7-4. We could not
Yeah.
beat
You
that
could not
level
beat it.
because we didn't know that there was a pattern to how you had to. And how would you know? There was no internet. There was no,
Yeah.
like, it
Yeah.
was you had to either know or figure it out or word of mouth or something. But I remember, and I'll never forget, bottom, middle, up, middle, up, and then you get through to face Koopa. But if it wasn't for Junior knowing that and coming in
Yeah.
and beating it for us, and then we became friends ever since that.
Yeah.
Like,
We were allowed to have. We told you this before, Moon, right? We were allowed to
Mhm.
have one friend in the house.
yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So there would be nobody had Nintendo in our neighborhood, right?
yeah, right.
So everybody would look in our window
Watch
at
playing from the porch. Yeah,
and we
that
we
that
we
that that
won.
is that is an '80s movie in itself.
Yeah,
yeah.
and we won the Nintendo because my mom selling candy.
Selling candy. Yep.
How crazy is that? Like you
Yeah.
could sell candy and
Yeah.
get a Nintendo.
Yep. And
Listen, I don't think I ever beat Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
Oh, that was another one. It was
I
all
beat I
I
patterns.
beat
never. I
that one.
never.
I beat
Yeah,
that one.
that was patterns.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
You had to learn the patterns.
And your reflexes had to be quick enough to dodge his punches, and you had to get the timing down. And like they said, there was no saves. you know Man, remember Metroid?
Yeah. Metroid was hard.
Metroid was so hard, and it was like one of the first games where it was kind of open world in the sense where it's like you could go backwards, you could go, you had to figure out where to go. And there were so many games like that where, I mean, Kid Icarus,
Mhm.
even the Mega Man games, like if you had to figure out which weapon that you gained from a previous boss would work effectively on the new bosses.
Yeah.
And if you
Remember
didn't have
Strider?
that, yeah, Strider, Rygar, all of these games, like we would play nonstop, and you know, it taught you how to fail and keep trying and try over and over and over again. And yeah, games nowadays are not like that, man. It's all about gaining weapons and power ups
Or
and
buying
buying
weapons.
stuff. Yeah, buying new skins and new weapons and attaining stuff
Yeah.
through like grinding. Just like, yo, isn't that crazy? I'm just thinking about that. Like, people have that term, like, you got to grind in this game to get like certain weapons, which is just basically doing menial tasks until you build up enough revenue in the game to buy something. That's crazy. GTA, you have to do these missions. You have to grind and do these missions and missions to get money so you can buy new cars and buy new weapons. It's not like, how it was where you're beating a level. It's different, man. But yeah, it's interesting.
Based off of, again, you had to figure out the pattern.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's, even with the headsets and being online and people talk trash.
Yeah.
And it becomes very prideful. I see that a lot, and it spills over to like just people interacting in terms of sports and stuff. I see that with kids that don't know how to interact with kids, and then they like, let's say they suck at a sport and they do one thing good, and then they are just talking all kinds of trash. And I'm like, wait, you just messed up every other thing. Like, how are you even talking? So
We all know those kids.
So for us, like at our age, when we were young, when we were like 9, 10, 11, nobody would get away with that.
Yeah.
Even that, like, you would hold, you can't talk trash because you got to back it up.
Yep.
Right. And you have to, and a lot of times if you can't do it, then you just keep your mouth shut.
Yep.
Until you learn.
Yep. Yeah.
Uncle Denny said we had Pong on Atari. LOL.
Boring.
But that's still, Still,
Wasn't Tetris on Atari? No,
No,
no, I don't think
Tetris
so.
was.
not Nintendo.
I remember Tetris on Game Boy before Nintendo, but I don't know
Yeah,
if it came out on Nintendo first. I don't remember. But yeah, Tetris
no,
was another one of them games.
that was specifically Game Boy.
But it came out on Nintendo eventually.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
but that was like the launch of
Yes, that was
Game.
the Game Boy's first game, right?
And remember how much they had to go through to get the rights for Tetris. Did you
Yeah.
ever see that movie? There's a movie they did about it.
No, I never saw it.
Like, yeah, with going to Russia and getting the rights, it was crazy.
Dude, there is
Because
a
at the time,
whole you can spend hours and hours on YouTube going down video game rabbit holes, like the backstories behind Street Fighter, like the nuances between the battling of the different game companies, bro. It's insane, and it's actually really good content if you ever like want to find out the history. And the guy, there was like two main composers that did all the music, some of the greatest music.
yeah.
On
You talking about Street Fighter?
bro, all those games, the music in Mario, the music in
Oh yeah, Mario,
Mega Man, the
even
music
Tetris.
in
Yeah.
Metroid, like, and they talk about like their concept. The Metroid composer was he was I think he said he was inspired by Alien, the Sigourney Weaver film. And like, so he wanted to go like they really thought out these scores that they would put in these games, and the score was very important to the release of these games. Like some games got delayed because the score wasn't done. Like it's a whole, man. It's very interesting, especially like looking back on how a lot of these people were underpaid. They were like being worked to the bone to get these games released. They would work on them for years, months, steal stuff from other games, copyright infringement. Like, bro, it was crazy time. Because think about it, like that was when, that was when the video game industry was first popping off, and it went from arcade, because the arcade games used to be very competitive. Like, if you could get a space in an arcade, it meant everything. But then when they became the game consoles at home, it just went to a whole nother level. And the game making competition just went crazy. And I think that the cartridge was invented by some black dude in America who had to sue because they stole it. They stole the IP from him. I remember watching something about that. Yeah, it's interesting stuff, man. But now you look at what games are. They got the Oculus games. I was playing I don't know if I told you about that. So Aria has this Oculus game that's like, it's like kind of like Walking Dead. You have to kill zombies, but it overlays the apocalypse over your house. So you're actually in your house, and the zombies are coming into your house like through windows and doors, and like they'll break down a wall, and you actually feel like you're in your house trying to kill these zombies. It's kind of crazy.
It's creepy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jordan said, haha, we got the Super Nintendo Mini a couple years ago, and my kids were working so hard together to try to beat Contra 2. It was great. Now I found my old Super Nintendo SNES, and we've been playing Super Mario World together. And yes, the music in a lot of those games were amazing.
Yeah, dude. And he said Google Genie. Google Genie is crazy. You can Google Genie. They just released that. If you have a Gemini account, you can use it for free. You can type anything in, and it will create like a short 60-second video game where you can just say, put this character in this world, and it will create it. And you can play, you can jump, run, and play a video game made with AI, and like it'll make it in a couple minutes.
Wow.
But yeah, man, Contra was another one of them games that were very hard to beat. It would take, hours and hours to get to that last level with the aliens.
Yeah.
I mean, remember Ninja Gaiden was so hard.
Yeah.
Ninja Gaiden was
Gaiden was
hard.
so hard.
Shinobi was another one that was hard.
Shinobi. Yes.
And it was all patterns. You gotta just figure out how to go. You had to climb up these walls.
Yeah.
Stuff is falling on you. You gotta figure it out.
Dude, but there's so many things about those games that we had no idea about. Like people were modding those games back then. There was a company that got sued because they came up with this mod cartridge that you could put on your disc before Game Genie existed, and like you could mod the games. Like, man, such crazy times. Super Mario World was great. I remember playing that when we first got that Super Nintendo for Christmas, opening that up and playing Super Mario World. It felt so much more advanced, and the graphics felt so much better. But now when you look at it now, it's like, yo, this is terrible. But it felt like at the time, wow, 16-bit graphics.
I was really into Zelda.
That was on 64, Ocarina of Time, right?
Yeah, that's
64-bit graphics. That was like, bro. I think Zelda and GoldenEye and Mario Kart like changed gaming for people on the N64.
Gamers.
Go ahead.
Gamers talk about Ocarina of Time all the time. That being like one of the best ones.
Yeah.
That was the one that I played.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got obsessed with that game, Jake. That was like the only game I ever saw you get obsessed with.
Yeah, I was into it, man.
Yeah.
I beat it.
And then you just were done after
and then I was done.
Yeah. Yeah. The last game I was obsessed with was GTA Vice City, and then I beat that game, and then I really, you at that point I was in my 20s, and it was like time to hang up video games. And then we would play.
We all were obsessed with Mario Kart.
Yes, we would play that from time to time because that was for the competition and the camaraderie, and you could play with 4 people, which that was something that N64 did that other people weren't doing with 4 controllers. And then Madden we would play a lot. Yeah, man. Good times. All right, guys, let's wrap it up there. Moan, I gotta come get a haircut, man.
Let's do it whenever. Let me know.
All right.
It'll probably be Thursday or Friday.
Okay. All right, guys, we appreciate everybody for watching this episode of the podcast. Man, a lot going on. The Epstein stuff is crazy, but let's try not to get too overwhelmed with it all. Remember to stay prayed up. Keep loving each other. Don't forget to support the channel. If you want to support what we do, hit the Patreon, which is in the description. We also have our merch store in there, and there's a Cash App link if you want to donate to the cause. Yeah, and other than that, we appreciate everybody. Hit that like button before you get out of here. Share this video with your friends, and we'll see everybody next week. Peace.
Peace.
Young lion, go live, yeah. Young lion, you rich, yeah. This kingdom has room, yeah. Go and fight people.